Dennis Gardeck is moving on from the Arizona Cardinals. The Barbarian is no longer going to wear that red and white. What the move signifies, Johnny Venerable?
Good night, sweet prince. Plus, why one NFL reporter is deeming the Cardinals offense the most underachieving unit in the NFL in 2024. PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast. That's how it's done. Your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Bo Brock in Studio K. Producer Noah behind the mic. How are you, sir? Bo Brock, what is the good word?
Feeling fantastic. I'd say that live from Johnny Venerable had a little extra sauce on it, we'll call it, right? It was impressive. I feel like maybe he felt like he had something to prove after seeing nearly the entire PHNX Sports squad try to imitate our sweet Johnny Venerable. And apparently he just said, I've got to show him how it's done. And you certainly did that. So we appreciate the lesson in how to open a show, Johnny.
Do you want a lesser version or do you want the real thing? And the real thing happens every day, 4:30 Pacific time on your number one Arizona Cardinal podcast. But big ups to my peers. Yeah. Phenomenal job. I did watch the video. I do think former producer, since been fired, Damon Dog did the best of all of them. I thought Damon's was fantastic. Bo, I thought yours was solid to good. And the new producer, Noah's, it scared me a little bit, but in a good way.
Yay. It was alarming. It was alarming to say the least, but I thought you know what? I think that as far as your kind words to fired producer Damon, a guy that we tried to drag his career through the mud after he exited this program, I think it's maybe on some like kind of road to mending those wounds. So good.
We talk about mending wounds. We talk about breakups, and I think that's very appropriate, right? Like, is Damon Dog the Dennis Gardeck of this program? Ooh. Some people are saying it. Speaking of Dennis Gardeck, we knew it was a reality for the better part of a month plus. That doesn't mean it doesn't hurt Bo Brock that much less. Dennis Gardeck leaves the Arizona Cardinals, leaves the Valley for the first time in 7+ years, signing today, jagging off with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Duval, Dennis Gardeck heads to Jacksonville. That's right. On a modest 1-year contract. He is coming off a torn ACL. We're going to talk about it, what it means for the Cardinals, and where maybe he would be without the subsequent torn ACL. But your initial reaction to this move, Bo?
I think it was just kind of expected, right? It wasn't something that took me by surprise. That it happened today, sure, but I think that's just signs, positive signs that Dennis Gardeck is close to being able to, getting on the practice field and getting to know his new teammates in there in Jacksonville. But we've all watched the Arizona Cardinals emphasize, focus, be hell-bent on rebuilding their defensive front seven, and you think about the numbers crunch that already exists, you throw Gardeck back in there, and it's just, oh man, it's a thank you for your service, Dennis Gardeck, because he filled in when the Arizona Cardinals absolutely needed it. Like you think back to 2023 where it was devoid of talent. It was devoid of proven commodities, especially on the defensive line and in the outside linebacker position. And Dennis filled that void. He came in and he had, a modest 6 sacks to lead the Arizona Cardinals, and was one of the more disruptive guys that could create pressure when some of the players on the roster couldn't. So you see him and you think about his story. For those who don't know it, a guy that went from playing at D2 West Virginia State. West Virginia State. That seems like a created team in NCAA 2025. In working part-time at McDonald's to go into South Dakota State, to undrafted, to really carving out a role for himself on special teams, to a 3-year, $12 million deal and getting the start on defense for a couple different coaches. Just, an applause for Dennis Gardeck and his Cardinals career.
I see some shade in the chat. Sports Hero saying, I forced this move. I made this move. Listen, this was necessary for the Cardinals to level up this offseason. That is not an indictment on Dennis Gardeck, the player, and certainly the person. Bo, I thought you broke that down well. Like, everybody loves an underdog. And I think that's a big reason why he is beloved by a large portion of the fan base. I think he ingratiated himself with multiple coaching staffs. Think about how many coaching staffs he played under. And then he has 3 sacks last year in the Rams win at State Farm Stadium in week 2. Now, granted, it's the only sacks he had on the year. If he doesn't tear his ACL in week 7, he might end up with 7 or 8 sacks last year. Do the Cardinals let him go if he produces like that? Do they trade for Baron Browning? He is the perfect rotational pass rusher. Energy guy, come in. How he was utilized, if you look back at his career, the best season was in 2020. 7 sacks behind, I think it was like Chandler Jones and Marcus Golden, he was like the 3rd guy. That's perfect for him, right? Yeah. In a world where a lot of players, whether first rounders or whatnot, can't sniff rushing the passer, when he was healthy, he was like one of the only people that had a nose for it in the slightest. Where the Cardinals got into trouble, and a lot of it was their own doing, was that they overvalued what he could do and downplayed what he couldn't do. He was not a starting caliber player. And guess what? He's not going to Jacksonville to be a starter. How many pass rushers do they have he's going to be a depth guy. And that's what he was initially, and that's what he should have stayed. But for whatever reason, poor drafting, injuries, bust free agent contracts to other people, he had to come in here, and it was like, hey, Dennis, can you, it's irresponsible of us to ask this, can you save our pass rush in week 5? Yep. It's like, that's not what he's meant to do. So the animosity that I held on this unit had nothing to do with Dennis in particular. I mean, like, would I have signed him to that contract in 2021 that Steve Keim signed him to? It was a very nice, handsome deal. Probably not. But if you're Keim, it's like, well, I found this guy. He was undrafted. He's performing. I'm going to sign him. So be it. And I'm glad, as Ozzy points out in the chat, he got his money as an undrafted player. Hell, he's got another contract at the age of 30. But to me, it's like he represented a problem with the Cardinals' developmental status of that position. And it was not an indictment of him, the player. He was put in position. It's like if you hire somebody to do a job and then it doesn't work out with other folks and you're like, hey, can you handle their work too?
Right.
Like, no, I wasn't qualified to do that to begin with.
Yeah, I wasn't, I didn't go to school for it. I didn't put it on my resume, but
Johnny, can you go host the Sun Show?
Yeah.
Like,
can you do that?
I could. You don't want me to do that.
That'd be electric. I need that. Actually, that needs to happen. But look, I mean, I don't see this as my co-host grave dancing here. I don't see this as Johnny saying, see, I was right. I'm much like you, where I think that this was just kind of a good parting of the ways, and where you can sit there and you can say, you can applaud Dennis Gardeck, thank him for what he did for this organization and filled so many roles for them. And like, you can be happy that the guy was able to really create. He was a self-made player. The background, it speaks for itself. The fact that he's a guy that continues on his NFL career. But for him to be able, like, the contract he signed with the Cardinals, the 3-year, $12 million deal, it was like special teams ace, rotational pass rusher. That's what he was supposed to be. But due to the inability to draft and them kind of overlooking drafting premium positions like edge rushers in place of off-ball linebackers far too often, Dennis Gardeck, once the regime change came he was the only guy that had, the capability of doing it. And it also a credit to Gardeck to not discount this as well. When Gannon and Rollis got their eyes on this roster, they liked Dennis Gardeck.
They did,
they
absolutely.
really liked him because he had the ability to do everything that they wanted from their outside linebacker, and he did it. And I'm sure those are two guys that had a firm handshake with Gardeck as they parted, and we're very thankful for what he had done for this team in the season and a half that he played under Gannon and Rollis.
Like I don't think they trade for Baron Browning. Maybe they do.
Yeah.
I think
I agree with that. I think I agree with that. That probably deters them from really being aggressive. Not to say
go ahead.
I mean, not to say like trading a 6th-round pick for Baron Browning was an aggressive move. Like we were all asking for something more aggressive. But
yeah, that wasn't a good joke.
But yeah, I think probably like Gardeck, they would have thought like just how they viewed that room and what they were willing to deal and what they brought back in return. Like Gardeck fit the need that Browning came in and filled.
I mean, like, again, look at what the Cardinals have done as a defensive line pass rush unit in 2 years. And he has been a guy that they've counted on. Free agency, be damned. Like, part of the problem and what Gardeck represented for me, and I'll let my co-host speak for himself, when the Cardinals sat out free agency in 2024 and there were a premium of starting caliber pass rushers available, Austin Ford and company said, we're good. We don't need one in the draft. We don't need one in free agency. We have a guy who's a drafted inside linebacker, an off-ball linebacker. We're going to play at pass rusher. We got a guy, a 2nd-rounder that we're excited about, ended up tearing his ACL in Ojulari, and we got Dennis Gardeck. And that pissed a lot of Cardinal fans off. And that was not Dennis Gardeck's fault. They should have gone out and paid Jonathan Grenard. It might have vaulted them to the postseason. They chose not to. Guess what? It bit them in the ass, and they have responded. They know they made a mistake. They traded for Baron Browning. They re-signed Baron Browning. They get Josh Sweat, the highest paid free agent under Austin Ford, the highest paid pass rusher in this market. They're signing defensive tackles that can disrupt from the interior. And then, oh, by the way, they drafted another one in the 1st round. And then they drafted a 3rd-round pass rusher. Yeah. Like, they get it. But it's an overcorrection that could have been avoided. And I think again, we were doing shows this time last year, check the tape from June through August. And I said, this is a problem. Why are you doing this again? And so, unfortunately for Dennis, he gets just Dumacage, Dennis Gardeck, Jesse Luketa get lumped into that category because they're not starting caliber players. And when you look at this team, and we're going to talk about the offense in a later segment about where they need to pick up the slack, the defense was failed by one unit. It was failed by their inability to win up front one-on-one. And these guys all attributed to that. And we should have never been in a position to have to do that, unfortunately.
Right. Well, and I think that's also what this move signifies, right? As they allowed Dennis Gardeck to rehab his knee injury, and then also he goes off into free agency, and there's not a big contingent of people saying, what are you doing? Because they see that the team is moving forward, right? There's not, hey, we're going to run it back again. Like we're not only going to run it back last year, but also we're going to run it back a 3rd time, whatever. And it's like, oh, come on. Like we can only take so many Fast and the Furious movies, right? Like it's as far as like the Cardinals and Gardeck, I think Monty, I think Gannon, I think Rollis, they understood like, hey, we need to set our sights a little bit higher. And that's not an indictment on the player. It never was. He played his ass off his entire time, and we knew we could rely upon him and count on him if we call his number. And that's the most you can say, I think, about Gardeck in his entire tenure. And man, like he made a lot of big plays for this organization, given like how he entered the league and what people didn't know about him. And he's going out, he's flying down on punts, and he's making plays. He's forcing balls loose. He's recovering fumbles. And then, as you mentioned, that 2020 season, was it? where he had less than 100 pass rush attempts and 7
Yeah.
sacks. So efficient. It was just he played himself into a great contract that he saw the end of it. I mean, I think you and I did 2 off seasons worth of shows where he said cut candidates up. Got to think Dennis Gardeck's on that cut candidate list, right? And then he would survive. He would just survive in advance all the way to the end and continue to make plays all the way up until his obviously the brutal injury that ended his 2024 season. But now he moves on. He goes to Jacksonville, and somebody pointing out in the chat, yeah, the Cardinals face Dennis Gardeck and the Jags later this season.
I misspoke. 2020, it wasn't Chandler Jones leading the team with sacks. Alternate reality, Hassan Reddick, 12.5 sacks that year, 2020, followed by Dennis Gardeck and Marcus Golden. So, wow, what a time to be alive. Who will pick up the slack? Who is this year's Dennis Gardeck? We're going to look at the changing of the guards. That's coming up on PHNX Cardinals. Man, pour one out for Gardeck's time in the desert. He will be missed. Pour one out. Don't you dare with your 79-cent Polar Pop. How about a 99-cent Froster via our friends at Circle K, the presenting sponsor? Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. They have a ton of good stuff right now. 3 for $7 Ghost. They've got the Circle K exclusive flavor, Straw Bango, Bango Bongo. Let's go. Save 30 cents per gallon on your fuel when you buy 3 Celsius, 12 or 16 ounce. They've got Circle K exclusive flavor. How about this? Watermelon ice. Perfect for the summer heat. Let's go. Circle K is the place to be this summer and beyond. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Again, all you need, phone number, email, you're ready to go. Save 25 cents on your first 5 fill-ups, 3 cents per gallon every single day after the fact. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com, Bo, for more details.
You know what sets aside Polar Pops from their competitors?
What's that?
The ice. The ice is elite at Circle K. They've got that unbelievably great ice. It's crunchy. It's phenomenal. Let's be real. Finances are a hot mess. You can't always get a 79-cent Polar Pop. Sometimes things cost a little bit more than that. Between bills, subscriptions, and you forgot about, trying to save for anything. It gets overwhelming and fast. That's where Monarch Money steps in. Think as your personal CFO. It'd be nice to have one of those, right? Somebody saying, don't buy that. You can buy this. You can afford it. And you can put away this much. It gives you full visibility and control of your money so you can stop just earning it and actually start growing it. With Monarch Money, it's like being in control of my finances because I want to save money for real goals, not just I hope there's something left at the end of the month. Monarch Money is going to put you in a stronger position than that. Monarch was named Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app for 2025 and has over 30,000 5-star reviews. 30,000 because people actually like using that. Imagine that. Get control of your overall finances. Monarch Money. Use the code PHNX at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. $365. You can be taking control of your finances and at half the price. That's half off when you go to monarchmoney.com and use the code PHNX.
Big thanks to all of our presenting sponsors today. Drop a comment, leave a like here on a football Wednesday in the offseason. Dennis Gardeck goes to Jacksonville. Let's take a look, Bulbrock, at the changing of the guard. Wow. And man, it is a welcome sight. The pass rush room, some new faces, some pre-existing faces, but nonetheless, it is a facelift. We mentioned it. Kicking us off, of course, Sweaty J and the boys, the marquee signing of the offseason. Has Josh Sweat shown up to OTAs, by the way, Bo?
He is not. We have not seen Sweaty J grace the field for the Arizona Cardinals. But Sweat, I mean, if we're going to see him, it's going to be mandatory next week. Everything's been voluntary up to this point.
Josh Sweat leads a group featuring, I would say, co-starter as of now, Baron Browning, who, again, not my favorite cup of tea, but he's repping a single digit. So I'm going to give him, based on that, the benefit of the doubt. Then you've got quality depth pieces, Zaven Collins, who's fantastic against the run. And then the youth movement, you've got pass rushers from each of the 3 previous draft classes. Ojulari, who a lot of people thought, coaches on the staff told us, was on deck to hit double-digit sacks last year before his ACL injury, was a second-rounder in 2023. Xavier Thomas, a surprise output last year as a 5th-rounder out of Clemson, started games when he had to, could be a practice squad candidate, and, of course, this year, a top 100 selection out of Oregon, third rounder Jordan Birch, who is a huge mountain of a man. That is the trio of youngsters on rookie deals. Browning and Collins' contracts are very manageable. And then, of course, the gem, Sweaty J, gets over $50 million guaranteed, Bo Brock.
Yeah,
what do you like? Who do you like?
I mean, I was watching Mina Kimes' podcast today, and like they had kind of X factors for each and every NFC team. And her and her guest, I think it was JP, is it Acosta?
Yeah.
They identified Josh Sweat just because, the pressure rate, we all know it, right? 28th, 29th in the league, just weren't getting in impacting the pocket, getting after opposing quarterbacks, and who's consistently done that even under Jonathan Gannon in 2022, Josh Sweat. So, you're going to get some production from Sweat. And I like it. It's like, okay, you've got him, probably your only proven commodity on this or in this room. And then if we could bring this back up and we'll go through it again, like some more. I mean, I like the versatility of it. I think you've got enough where Browning, Ojulari, and Birch provide upside. And if one of them pops, like I think you're going to be in a really good spot, especially with what you did at the interior of the defensive line. And then you kind of have this jack of all trades, versatile piece in Zaven Collins, where they still ask him to do so much. Like he's dropping, he's lining up inside, he's standing up, he's doing all these crazy things that Nick Rallis continues to do like a mad scientist. And Zaven Collins is kind of like his guy that he trusts to move around there. And then like there's Avery Thomas, who I think, it's going to be an uphill climb for him to make this roster and not get practice squad. But I like this group. I really do.
It's a successful contract for Josh Sweat, as Mike Garafolo told us both at the Combine and during our hits this offseason. If he lasts 2 to 3 years on the deal, 2 years, and you get productive seasons in 2025 and 2026. Josh Sweat, to your point, like, I don't think anyone's expecting him to come in and be like peak Calais Campbell, 15 to 17 sacks, or Chandler Jones. But I do think 8 to 12 sacks is the expectation. Like, maybe not your best year with JG, but can you find a way to get to double-digit sacks? I think he gets there, and then you need a compliment on the other end. And it's going to be, may the best guy win, open competition. I think it's one of the more intriguing competitions. It's one of the true competitions on this roster. And I know they'll rotate guys, but like when the season opens and they have the depth chart and it comes out, who is going to be starting that first Sunday opposite Josh Sweat? Who is going to help them slow down, Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shuck in the Superdome, right? And they are in a very advantageous position because the D linemen they've acquired in Darius last offseason and the 3D tackles they've added this offseason can all rush the passer. Yeah. So you're not exclusive to Sweaty J taking care of everything. You've got a mix now. Yeah. And again, everybody wants to compare their situation to Philadelphia. What are you laughing at?
I'm going to burst your bubble a little bit. I think I've got a pretty good inkling of who's going to be starting opposite Sweaty J, but keep going.
You're going to tell, okay, that's a hell of a tease. Well, my point is, I mean, Philly went to the Super Bowl this year and didn't have one player in double-digit sacks. I think every team would be like, my system can just get guys to 5 to 7 sacks when we're in good shape. And I think the Cardinals are going to be a poor man's version of that. All right, go ahead and burst my bubble. Is it Baron Browning?
No, I think it's going to be Zaven Collins.
Just like by default? Why do you think that?
I mean, look at the last 2 seasons. 34 games under Jonathan Gannon, Nick Rallis, 34 starts. I mean, Zaven Collins, and it's a rotation. I mean, the nod to get a start, it only means like he's out there at the beginning of the game, right? But there's going to be Josh Sweat, who has the upside as far as getting to the quarterback. And then, like I said, with Zaven Collins, we had a conversation with him yesterday, post OTA's practice about a lot of topics, but he's kind of your guy that's your versatile outside linebacker that you can ask to do anything. And I don't think he relinquishes his starting job. I mean, I think it very well could be like Baron Browning. Like if you look at their snap counts, you're going to see some like across the board, it's going to be guys, 40, 45, 50, whatever %.
Look at let me just encapsulate what's happening in the chat right now as you say that. I'm going to do my best Yankees fan thumbs down here, and I'm just going to go like that to what you just said. That's what you're talking about. Zaven Collins starting games here after what they've done this offseason. I'm just doing that. I don't like it. And again,
but even when I provide you the context of it doesn't matter, right? But I think
it's the optics. Come on. We're trying to win games here. Are we trying to win?
You can't mean yourself.
I'm sure there are people who are going to be like, well, he'll leave on passing downs. I'm sorry. Guess what? Competent NFL teams throw the ball on first and second down, not just third down. We have no juice on third down, or excuse me, on passing down.
I don't know why you think Baron Browning is the guy. I mean, who had more sacks?
It's the unknown. It's at least like that's his natural position.
Zaven was unbelievable against the run last year.
He was
fantastic.
I'm not saying get rid of him. I like him as a player. I don't know why though in this offseason, like the optics of it.
Because everybody wants more up. Everybody wants a guy to go just put the quarterback on the turf. That's what people want from that position.
He had
reality
last year.
Reality is Jonathan Gannon's staring you in the face in Indianapolis this February. And he says sacks don't matter. Here's why.
He did yell at me. I yelled at him. I'm like, hey, coach, I think you're telling a little bit of a fib about pressures and sacks. He's like, shut your mouth. And I'm like, oh, sorry, sir. I'm so sorry. No, he was great.
You got to stand out in the cold. Yeah.
Like, Johnny, I thought you knew ball. I guess I was wrong. Dennis Gardeck, Zaven Collins, Baron Browning. Like, who is the next Dennis Gardeck for this team? Is it Baron Browning? Because I want to be able to put labels on guys of who are guys who have juice rushing the passer. Because right now we're talking about a lot of guys who have no juice or minimal juice doing that. Scheme sacks. Like Zaven Collins had 5 sacks last year. Does anybody remember him? Respectfully?
Yeah.
Does anybody remember any of his sacks? Could you tell me a game right now that he had a sack in? He had 5 sacks last year. Don't look at his sack totals. What game did he have a sack in?
Let's just say San Francisco. I don't know.
Oh, no. He did have one against the Niners in the finale against Josh Dobbs' corpse of the Niners. He had one in that fraud end of the season game where the Niners had no players. That's good, though. That's good. Did you think that the other game, though, the one in Santa Clara?
Oh, no. That was because it was such kind of like I don't know, like a production of a game. Like both teams, they knew they were playing for anything. Like you could really kind of get some nice like empty calorie stats in that game.
A stat padding game. So he had a sack in the finale. Then he had a sack against the Seahawks in Seattle. I don't remember that. He had he sacked Caleb Williams twice in Arizona. That was just a bloodbath. And then he had a sack against the Rams. So like the games were like people were eating. Like the Rams game the first time where Gardeck had 3 sacks, and then the Bears game. Those were the game where all of the rotational guys were like, yeah, let me get in there and get a sack. Like, right. Yeah. We need guys. We need players. It's like, hey, the game's on the line against the Vikings.
Yeah.
And somebody went and just hit the out of Sam Darnold in the fourth quarter and stripped the ball away. That never happened. Like forced fumbles from strip sack. When's the last time? I can't remember a strip sack to save my life for this team. I can't remember it.
Probably Gardeck. It's probably Gardeck. Well, there was one in that San Francisco game in Santa Clara.
That doesn't.
But that was a long time. That was like week 4.
I have no memory of that.
Man.
I'll pull it up. I'll pull up the box score right now. So against San Francisco, the sacks came from Chris Barnes and Naquan Jones, neither of which are with the team still.
Nobody got a forced fumble in there?
I don't see it.
I thought they got Brock.
They forced a fumble on the halfback inside the 10. Remember that?
Oh, that must have been. I misremembered. I apologize.
If anybody can tell us,
do I even know ball? That's what I'm asking myself after that fumble. Yeah, that's you didn't see it because, and that's really where they're going to have to up the pressure. And when we see like the changing of the guard in there, I don't even know how to describe the graphic that Noah put together. Let's
see it again.
Cool. It looks like something that you would find in like your grandparents' study. You got changing the guard. You got Sweat, Browning, Collins, Ojulari, Birch, Thomas. Like I turned to Ojulari and Birch to be the guys that are going to emerge to really be the enforcers of this pass rush group. Like, I know that's asking a lot of a couple unproven guys, and Birch, a first-year guy, but like Ojulari, from like what Mike Wilson told us in our end of the year, like they expect him to be a double-digit guy. Like Ojulari, I know you can't rely upon him, but like you hope he emerges as what they envision him being going into last year.
Can I like maybe I've been an ass for 30 minutes of this show. They have enough now. Like,
yeah,
I'm not. You can always use more. Good teams draft pass rushers every year. They have enough though. Between this, the defensive tackle group is more impressive than this, and this is night and day better than last year. Browning, Birch, and Sweat for the full season. Ojulari coming off injury. Xavier Thomas is going to be better in year 2, and Zaven is a solid run defender. You got a really nice group here of youth and veterans. I mean, hell, Josh Sweat might be the oldest player on this list. You just gave him, $50+ million guaranteed. It's a good, solid group. Now, if I'm sitting there, hopefully like pick 32 next year, in the draft, and there's a pass rusher that you like, well, then you take him. You take one every year.
Yeah.
But between that and the heavy lifting you did, like I use the word, I'll continue. It was an overcorrection offseason, and it needed to be done. Because if we're sitting here and you're tendering all these guys from last offseason, Luquetta's and Dumikagi's back and Gardeck, and you're just running it back, then I would seriously question, like, what are we doing? Are we trying to win? This feels like we're trying to win.
It's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity. There you go.
I'm sure Gannon and Rollis went to Austin Ford last offseason when Monty's like, should we be in on some of these guys? Gardeck just got you 6 sacks. I'm sure they're like, we can make it work with Gardeck and Zaven on one side and Ojulari blows up on the other side. Go and spend money. They needed defensive tackles. They needed corners. Like, I can see that conversation happening. But I mean, in hindsight, didn't work out. And so you have to have, like, if Sweat gets hurt, you've got options. If Baron Browning's a bust, you've got options. If Jordan Birch isn't the guy, you have a group of guys where any of those 6 guys you could start and be comfortable with for a game plus. And that they did not have that last year.
Yeah. They need a hit at some point. They just haven't, as far as trying to draft and develop one, and hopefully guys like Ojulari, Birch, even Thomas. I mean, Zaven, like, these are guys that somebody is going to get the opportunity to do so. So when you say, like, who's the next Gardeck, it's the guy who can take advantage of the unique opportunity that they weren't going to receive otherwise. And can they produce production that nobody anticipated? So that's what's going to be presented with him. But with a better setup, as you mentioned, the interior of that defensive line, there's going to be some dogs. Like, there's going to be some guys like Calais, Dalvin Tomlinson, Walter Nolan, Darius Robinson. And also you can supplement this pass rush group. You could throw Mac Wilson in there. He cross-trains a little bit. You can throw D-Rob in there. I think you can you've got just an ability to be multiple and really kind of try to confuse offenses. But this is your group. This is the group going forward, and it's a bit of a change up after what we've used to been seeing with Dennis Gardeck just being the default guy.
This is the group. Some new faces. Guess where there are no new faces? The offense. Guess what? One NFL writer labeled the most underachieving offense in the NFL last year. The Arizona Cardinals. That's coming up. It's PHNX Cardinals. Disappointed in the pass rush of last year. Disappointed in the offense. Not disappointed in the least with All Pro Shades concepts. They're what we like to call a draft gem. Extend your outdoor living space with a custom fit awning. Hundreds of designs and colors to choose from to match any home. Again, they can work with HOA for approval. They've got motorized and retractable remote controls. They've got LED lighting. Whatever you want, they can take care of. Plus, a patio up to 20 degrees cooler in Arizona heat, triple digits. Sign me up. Hundreds of colors, durable fabric to withstand the Arizona sun. Choose from manual to motorized, sealed track, or cable shades. They can replace and fix most outdated patio shades. Check them out right now. Get a free estimate today. Why the heck not? The most trusted local shade company, voted #1 by Arizona for patio shades in 2024 with a triple B A+ rating with over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google. They've been in business, Bo, for 20 years in the Valley. Started making window shades by hand for friends and family in Phoenix. Now they're one of the largest installers of patio roll-down shades and motorized awnings in the Valley. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Call 623-204-1476. That's 623-204-1476, or visit allproshadesconcepts.com now to schedule your free estimate today.
You ever go try to find new flooring at a big box store and you go down the aisle and you say, can you help me find some new laminate tile? And they say, sir, I just work here. I've only got 7.5 hours left on my shift. Please leave me alone. I don't know anything about this laminate or tile. Go away. That's what you get. But not with Empire Today, Johnny. No, they do it right. They bring the entire showroom straight to your home. The convenience of shopping from home, right in your house. Furniture, your really specific wall color. They can get it all lined up. Flooring experts show up with all the samples. They take all the measurements and they help you figure out what exactly works in your space. So you're not just sitting there 6 months later going, why did we get neon laminate? This just goes completely against our vibe. It looks ridiculous. And I'm foolish and I'm out a lot of money. Don't do that. Get clear upfront pricing, no sneaky fees, no surprise costs. And they install it as soon as the next day. Faster than your friend returning your text. That's right. When I text Johnny, sometimes he doesn't text me back. So do it. Schedule your free in-home estimate today. PHNX listeners get $350 off with the promo code PHNX. Check it out right now. EmpireToday.com/PHNX. That's EmpireToday.com/PHNX. Terms, conditions apply, but stylish floors do not.
I text.
Yeah, I don't text back. It's called boundaries. Come on now.
It's 12:15. I just want to hear from my friends.
Leave me alone. Drop us a like. My real friends are all 260 watching live. Drop a like. Leave a comment here on a football Wednesday in the offseason. We've spent much ado about the defense this offseason. We've talked about it ad nauseum because that's where the majority of the heavy lifting, the facelift, has happened. New players abound, and we love it. What about the offense? Well, they re-signed Zay Jones. They tendered Greg Dortch, right? They re-signed Evan Brown. It's the running it back with Drew Petzing and the boys on the offense for the Arizona Cardinals. One NFL writer at NFL.com may think that that's a poor decision. Let's take a look. This is from Judy Batista, NFL.com, labeling the Cardinals offense as underachieving last year. It's hard to argue that 2024, Kyler Murray played 17 games. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. And they finished 12th in points scored, 18th in passing, and 17th in red zone percentage. Perhaps most disappointing was that Harrison, widely considered to be one of the best receiving prospects to come into the league in years, was not much of a bigger factor in the offense. He was targeted 116 times and caught 62 passes for 885 yards, 8 touchdowns. He was targeted, this is a key one, 10 or more times in just 3 of 17 games played. All that pales in comparison to the production we saw from Malik Nabers, et cetera, et cetera. Nabers was dealing with far less quarterback talent. New York. The Cardinals have other talent. McBride is one of the best tight ends in the game. Well, James Conner rushed for 1,000 yards, but 2 things have to happen for this offense to max out. Murray must stay healthy and reduce his turnovers. He had 11 interceptions and 8 fumbles last season, and the Cardinals coaches have to make Harrison an integral part of the plan. That's via Judy Batista, NFL.com. I knew the targets were bad. I didn't know they were that bad. 3 times last year, he got the ball double digits thrown to him, Bo Brock. Right.
And I think 2 of those games were not that great, not that efficient. I think he hit double digit targets and there wasn't a high percentage of them completed, which was one of those things where they just never got on the same page. There can't be a sequel to this horrendous movie. Like it needs to end. Like we hear from Gannon, we hear from Trey McBride, everybody that's out there and seeing, Marvin Harrison Jr. 2.0, and he's bulked up and he's more comfortable in the offense and he's got some, games under his belt, all 17 last season. He has to be able to prove that the chemistry and the just experience he gained from his rookie year was enough to help him tap into his potential and find it in 2025. I do get bothered by the Nabers comparisons, because the Nabers thing is, it isn't apples and apples. It's completely different what was going on with the horrendous offense in New York, and then their ability to just try. Like, they just went to Malik Nabers that's all they had. Whoever was the quarterback, spam Nabers the ball. This is our only hope. Where Marvin Harrison Jr. wasn't the case, but it was too much of an afterthought, or utilized, not enough as the vocal point in the offense. And I think that's fine. But like, if you're going to say, well, why didn't they do like what the Giants did with Malik Nabers? It's like, well, what did the Giants do overall? How many points a game did they score? They scored less than the Cardinals. They had just trouble just putting points on the board overall. So I'm not going to look at them and say, wow, should have done what the Giants did.
Would you like to take a guess how many double-digit targets Malik Nabers got in games last year?
I would say probably 16 of his, or he missed, I think, a couple games. So how many games did he play?
He played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He played 15 games, had 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. How many of those 15 games did he have double-digit targets?
I would bet 14, if not all 15.
No, it was 10. But listen to some of these totals.
Yeah.
Against the Ravens, he had 14 targets. Against the Falcons, 14. Against the Commanders in week 2, he had 18 targets. He caught only 10 of those passes, but it was for 127 and a touchdown. Against Dallas, 15 targets on 12 catches, 115 yards. His yardage total, outside of a game against Indianapolis where he broke all those tackles, right? And it really kind of cost the Giants that win late in the year, cost them a top quarterback.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison Jr. has Nabers in terms of yardage for a singular game. Marvin's total, I believe, of 130, let me double check this, has him in every game but that Colts game. And Marvin, by the way, against the LA Rams, had only 8 targets that day. Yeah. So to me, it's like, if Marvin Harrison Jr. had a different offensive play caller and he got even a third more of those targets, he would have hit 1,000 yards and everybody would be chill the F out. But no one can do that. Everybody wants to label people underwhelming or busts or whomever. I mean, like against Miami, Marv, 6 catches on 7 targets for 111 yards. He didn't get the ball thrown to him enough. There were instances. The Packer game, he got hurt. Let's take that out. Buffalo, one catch on 3 targets. Yeah. Jets game where the Cardinals routed the Jets, 5 catches on 5 targets. Bears blowout, 2 catches on 5 targets. Seahawk game, 4 catches on 8 targets. New England game, blowout, 2 catches on 6 targets, right? The finale against San Francisco, 5 catches on 6 targets. The common denominator, when the Cardinals were winning and they could run the ball up and down people's throats, they did not prioritize Marvin Harrison Jr. And then when they needed to throw to win games, we don't know what we're doing. We never do this. Help us. We can't run the ball against good teams like Seattle. And now we've forgotten how to pass. Now we've forgotten how to have an intermediate to long passing game. And that's a byproduct of your offensive coordinator. Like, everybody can say, it's like, my son is in multiple flag football leagues. He goes to football camps. And if he plays in one singular league and can dominate that league and never plays in another league, and then I put him in another league and he's like, the competition's too, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to revert back to what I've always done, and it doesn't work out. You need diversity. You need to up your game a little bit. Like, they never felt a sense of urgency against the Jets, Bears, or the Patriots to say, we're going to throw the ball over the yard, because they're like, well, we can just run James Conner. We can run Amari DiMercato. And that is what you and I have preached for 2 years. That is not sustainable for beating good. You have to be able to throw the ball to get 2 teams, to beat good teams. Otherwise, you shouldn't have taken him. You should have said, this is not who we are. We're going to run 12 personnel. We're going to trade down 2 spots. We're going to take Joe Alt. And if I'm Monty Ossenford and I've looked at this, I'm sure it makes me sick and I'm pissed off, because it cost you games last year. I didn't realize that those Malik Nabers statistics were as damning as they are in comparison. He was not given an opportunity.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a game, it was in primetime, where like the Giants concocted one of the dumbest play calls I've ever seen to get Malik Nabers the ball. Like they were going to do whatever it took because they knew that they didn't.
But you got to meet me halfway. Malik Nabers' worst get this. Malik Nabers' worst game of the year came when he had, I don't know, the least amount of targets. He had 4 catches for 41 yards against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Look, I don't disagree. Like I agree with you. Like there needs to be some give from the Cardinals and how they utilize the 4th overall pick, Marvin Harrison Jr. Like when we saw the success as far as Marvin Harrison Jr. working the middle of the field and crossing routes, and the success, especially when you think of the Miami game, where he had like 3 big plays on crossing routes, and then they continue to go away from it. And then they're like, let's continue to get vertical with Marv, where the vertical game wasn't necessarily one that was working between him and Kyler Murray in the offense. So yeah, they need to, for whatever reason, I'm not sure why they took that out of it, but his effectiveness over the middle was undeniable, but then there wasn't enough plays in the playbook or that were called to really kind of take advantage of that. And you can't have that happen. And like, what did we say? 3 double-digit target games for Marvin Harrison Jr.? Like that can't happen either. Like he needs to be double-digit target games 2025. There shouldn't be any wiggle room there. Like that has to happen.
I see people saying like Marv has to do a better job catching the football, and I would agree with that. But here's what I would challenge everybody. Do you guys know the kind of routes he was being asked to run? He had the hardest route tree in the NFL. It was people refer to as the sacrificial X receiver. Like, does anybody think that that's what happened to Malik Nabers?
He was playing on hard mode, all Madden mode, basically.
Yeah, we had Benjamin Solak wrote an article for ESPN, and basically it was one of the most disgusting, and I'm paraphrasing, route trees ever. No slants, no end arounds, no screen passes, no bubble screens, nothing. It was like, it's like, hey, we're going to run this play called the go route, and then we're going to have no sequency or continuity with a back shoulder fade. And it looked broken from the start. Yeah. And that was the biggest indictment is they never fixed it. They never tweaked it.
Right.
And I think that's where Cardinal fans, and this is going to be the point of contention this year until they correct it, have an issue with Drew Petzing is like, you have never shown an ability to do this. Why should I believe that you can do this? Right? It's like, this is year 3. They have never featured a receiver in this offense. You took one 4th overall. Like in the hierarchy, Drew Petzing does not supersede Monty Austinford. So it's like, okay, you should be able to take this player who everybody deemed all-worldly. By the way, that you look like you guys broke mid-season when he had that, engagement at his locker with Bo and the rest of the media mid-season. It's like, was very kind of like subdued. You guys took and killed his confidence. Build him up. I will never put this on a 21-year-old kid ever.
Yeah. Look, I mean, as much as I push back against like the Nabers comparison, I don't disagree that there needed to be better usage. There needed to be higher volume of usage, and then like figuring out and fine tuning and troubleshooting throughout the season, like where you want it to go. Like when Marvin Harrison Jr. worked crossing routes, when he worked comeback routes, post routes, like you saw him and where he kind of excelled in those, but then you started to go, really try to get vertical with him, and it just wasn't successful. So look, I disagree a bit to Judy Batista calling it, the most, disappointing group in the NFL last year. I mean, it was, did it fall short? Absolutely fell short. I mean, it was a daily discussion on this show. It took over PHNX Cardinals. It created a rift between me and my co-host. It probably played into us getting rid of Damon Dog and tell him he's fired. We couldn't repair, right? The things we lost during that season. But I mean, they were like middle of the road offensively. And I'm sure you could look at Kyler and Trey McBride and what they did in the run game and Marvin Harrison Jr. in the skill set and say, hey, this should have been, top 10 offense easily, in that they underachieved, but not the biggest underachiever. I mean, you can look you can find a dozen of those before the Cardinals should be brought up.
The Suns have a new head coach. Why Jonathan Gannon is poised to dominate as the best pro coach in the Valley moving forward. That and more. Show programming note coming up. It's PHNX Cardinals. Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. money in the red zone last year, though, with 8 touchdowns. Money for you with our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union. If you're an Arizona sports fan, there's no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. It's the only place you can show your team spirit every time you make a purchase with exclusive debit cards branded with your favorite teams, including Arizona Cardinals, Arizona State, Northern Arizona University. That's because for more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicating and creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community, providing financial solutions that make lives better. Look to Desert Financial for checking, savings, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. Join a credit union that's committing to giving back to the community and sharing success with members. You can open up a free checking account online, get $200 in bonuses. Heck yeah. Start by visiting desertfinancial.com/200 to get started.
Love that. Financial future is bright with Desert Financial. And also you need those shades for the bright sun that obviously we know so well here in the Valley of the Sun. At the moment, you realize you left your favorite pair of sunglasses at the beach, on the roof of your car, the gas station 3 states away. Well, we've all been there before, right? Well, you got what's going on at Shady Rays. You found that they have changed the game with these sunglasses made for real life. Seriously, they're good looking, polarized, durable, and they're not stupidly expensive. Actually, the price point is well below $100. And the great wild part, if you lose, you break them. Even just on day one, Shady Rays is going to send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. They're going to get you your shades back, protecting your eyes, and back out adventuring. So now you actually wear your sunglasses without fear of leaving them somewhere or breaking them on hikes, concerts, a boat. Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back. We've teamed up with Shady Ways to bring you this exclusive offer. Did you hear me? Shady Ways? Shady Rays. Head to shadyrays.com. Use the code PHNX. 35% off at Polarized Shades. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. That's right, Noah. Shady Ways.
What do we do?
The way. Only way. Drop a comment, leave a like here. It's PHNX Cardinals on a Wednesday. I said I wasn't going to host PHNX Suns, but I'd be remiss if we didn't note that the Suns have hired Cavs assistant coach Jordan Ott. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Jordan Ott.
Yeah, good old Jot.
Yep. He famously was at Michigan State University. I feel like that's important to reference here. 40 years old, and joins Jonathan Gannon as the 2 most recent hires in the Valley. Your reaction to the move, Bo Brock?
Oh, man. I was unprepared for Suns hoops talk, but I don't know. I'm pretty underwhelmed, but I had to tune into our guy Ruby and Steven today, talk some hoop, and as they do, they can put you at ease. It's going to have to be the version of Gannon for the Suns. It's going to have to be a culture changer, and obviously there's some big moves to come for that organization going forward. You hope it's just not a guy that's brought in to be a yes man. And that's not what JG is at all. JG is like, this is what's going to help us be successful. And Bidwell and Monty Austin for it. They work in concert to make sure that Gannon is empowered there. I don't know if Ott's going to get that ability. I don't know if Ott is a guy that's worthy of that type of power. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, an assistant coach from the Cleveland Cavaliers, I couldn't know less about the guy and give you a true opinion on him.
The point I was maybe poorly trying to make here is that this is Jonathan Gannon's. This is Jonathan Gannon's town as head coach of professional teams. Kenny Dillingham still benefit of the doubt after what he did last year.
Yeah.
But pro coaches, Torrey with the Diamondbacks again did a hell of a job a couple years ago. World Series loss in 2023. Not a great start this year, although they're around a little bit. 3rd in the NFC West last year, but we're talking football. and football's king. And if Jonathan Gannon can get this team to the playoffs, and if he can win a division title, this is his town. Mm-hmm. And I think Jordan Knott, the reason I like the hire is I feel like they understand the task at hand. It's not a quick fix. Let's get a guy who's won a championship and piece together this overrated, bloated salary cap roster. Like, they're going to have to eat their vegetables in the same realm that the Cardinals did a couple of years ago. I think Jonathan Gannon and Monty Osford have eaten their vegetables. I think they're poised for the biggest run of success. I just feel like with the Diamondbacks that, unfortunately, 2 years ago was your shot, and now in a division with the Dodgers and the Padres, it's very difficult, right? You have to catch lightning in a bottle, whereas the Cardinals, I think, are in a precarious position in the NFC where, it's not dominated by great quarterback play. There is no modern dynasty with the Kansas City Chiefs or the MVP and Josh Allen. Like, Cardinals have seen their own division with San Francisco get to Super Bowls with subpar quarterback play. And it's about roster construction and head coach. And I think they've got a great handle on that. So if you ask me, like, I know Damon's not here to defend the Diamondbacks. If you ask me, like, trending up, trending down, off-season coaching, I think Gannon is trending up more so than the other two.
Yeah, I don't think there's, maybe you can count Arizona State, but you're going to have to do it again in a very volatile college football landscape, right? That's ever changing with NIL, and it seems like Dilly's done a great job as far as having his team prepared for that and embracing that. But like the direction of the Arizona Cardinals is very clear. Like, it is the arrow is pointing up, and it's because of the two top decision makers there, and Gannon working in lockstep with Ossenfort, but Gannon owning his role in the organization, and it's bigger than I think a lot of the head coaches we've seen for the Arizona Cardinals, even a guy like Bruce Arians. But I think that if you're following it closely and you're really looking at it from I think an objective eye and a critical eye, like which team is close to really kind of breaking through on the precipice of doing something special, I think it's the Cardinals, and that's because of Gannon.
With the quarterback and the head coach at the collegiate level, I agree with Animal TV. I think ASU should be the favorite to win the Big 12 again, to get back to the college football playoff. You get into the dance, anything can happen. And they were without multiple players in that game against Texas and almost pulled it off. So, whereas I agree with CBK in the chat, like, Cardinals win this year, they will become the most popular team in the Valley. Like, it just there was a time where that was possible. I mean, it was 15 years ago when this team had multiple runs to the playoffs and a Super Bowl berth and, moments away from potentially hoisting their first Lombardi. And unfortunately, that was snatched from their grasp. But then, like, you saw the ugly reality of the NFL and how hard it is to consistently win. And you saw Rod Graves and his organization fall apart. And then you saw Steve Keim take over and with Bruce Arians find some success. But once, like, BA exited, like, things quickly fell apart, and like this team was just so uneven and just kind of an emotional roller coaster the entire way that I think they relinquished their ability even when the Suns were down for a decade. But like, there's nothing that a team more than an NFL team that a city would rally around right now in this day and age, because NFL is king. But this has always been undeniably a basketball town. But people they want to just give them a reason. Yeah, and they've been burned by the Suns the last 2 years. I mean, they've been really burned by this rendition of the Phoenix Suns, and even our folks on the Suns podcast. It's like they're going to have to do it the organic, the difficult way, right? Mm-hmm. The NBA is not about like big threes anymore and super teams. It's like, look at the teams; these are homegrown teams, right? Yeah. And the Suns are going to do that, hopefully, and they're going to emulate that approach. And then people are going to fall in love with the players all over again. But there's no quick fix. And the Cardinals didn't take a quick fix. Booty cheeks for years.
Real Ruby? That's not the real Ruby, right?
No, I don't believe so.
I mean, like,
pretty funny.
Is that a parody?
Booker, they can make the playoffs next year if they hit the right kind of beats, because they've got Devin Booker and there are tons of playoff spots and there are playing games, and it'll be a fun year because I think the expectations will be low. What we've endured with this roster, stripping it down 2 years ago, like
Yeah.
everybody knew what we were signing up for, right? Those days are over. It's time to win. You can win with us here in OT. We're going OT, baby, to answer your super chats. Jump on over from whatever streaming service you may be on. Big thanks to our many partners as we check out gophnx.com and, of course, YouTube. Drop a like. We're going to kick things off here in the chat. For Chubb, $2 super chat. Heartbroken over Dennis Gardeck. Hopefully he comes back if he balls out.
30 years old. I think you just thank him for his service. Got to witness it. Got to him go from undrafted guy to fan favorite to really contributing in a legit way to some Cardinals teams that even through the thin years, he was making some plays for this team, and you're thankful for that. So for Chubb, I'm here for you, man. Hang in there. Dennis Gardeck, you're going to get to watch him down there in Duval, maybe make some plays for Liam Cohen and crew.
A very kind super chat here by Daniel Barnett. $5. These guys actually know ball. There's a lot of media that just spew nonsense, especially about Arizona. Y'all need to like the vids so they can blow up. We appreciate that, Daniel. We hope this is an extension of all of you, that everybody feels comfortable here talking ball in a space where we're not going to cater to any singular audience. We're just going to be transparent, and we're not going to shill either. Like, we love this team. I grew up a fan of this team, but when it's time to call out the offense for, too generic, we'll point that out. When it's time to talk about a pass rush group that needs to be updated, GM's got to carry, the water there. We'll call that out, but we appreciate that.
How about our guy Didi dropping a super sticker? Thank you, Didi. I don't know if Didi maybe wanted to chat something. Just throw it in there. We'll read it. But also Didi, I believe, the diehard discussion all the time too. So we'll catch up there as well. But thank you for the super sticker. How about CBK? $5. What's going on, CBK? If they hadn't drafted Tip, it would have been one of the worst lines in the league. Johnny, thoughts? Comments?
I think, again, Tip is like my Dennis Gardeck. I don't dislike the player or the person. I just hate what it represents. It represents, I think, a big part of like that Marvin conversation, right? But I saw Tip catch a ball at OTAs in a clip from my co-host here, and it was like, okay, maybe there's going to be some more of that this year. But I
think that was the team. I think the team posted that one.
Okay, got it.
There's Tip.
He's really good at his role. Now, could have his role been addressed later in the draft? I think that's the argument. But
I think Tip would become Gardeck is if he was thrust into, hey, we need you to become a playmaking tight end. And then you had to move forward with Tip as your like tight end one.
But isn't that why you take a tight end in the top 100 to be a playmaker and not a blocking tight end?
Tyler P jumping in, 279. Random question. Are you guys big NBA fans? Johnny?
Huge. No, I'm a Suns fan. I like the Suns. I'll watch the Suns when they're on. But no, I would say it's like pro football, college football, probably pro baseball, and then Suns basketball, like when they're available. But I love when Phoenix sports are good in general. I'll bandwagon it up. I'll fraud it up every day.
My answer, not really. The current day NBA where it's a lot of threes, it has to be turned off, and because the Suns' downfall, it's also played into it. So not big NBA fan. Love March Madness, love college hoops, and look, if the Suns get back on track, you can get me back in as a fair weather fan.
Yeah, I have no issue saying big time fair weather NBA fan here. Noah, do we have the graphic tuned up and ready to go for our big show announcement? Let's see it.
Oh, without a doubt.
Let's get it going here. So today's a very special day because we have to say goodbye to my co-host, Bo Brock, temporarily. Yeah. And why do we have to say goodbye to Bo Brock? Noah, let's see it, my guy.
Oh, he missed.
There it is. Bo Brock leaving for paternity leave.
Oh, man.
After the show. My goodness. We are so proud.
That's going to be my young son? Look at him. Looks nothing like me. I'm concerned. There I am taking off, strolling out, and leaving to the arms of my newborn son, which will be here tomorrow, folks. Thank you for the graphic. That's the I'm leaving Twitter graphic, isn't it?
I believe so.
People are asking, did she have the baby yet? If you were here and she had the baby, you wouldn't be, the locks would be changed.
That's exactly right. I would be in a courtroom trying to, and very poorly, vying to see my children if I'm not there. So tomorrow, baby Brock is set to join us, and couldn't be more excited about it. And I know the show, thank you, ZT, is going to be in great hands. Johnny's going to have some co-hosts along the way, but I'm excited. Thank you, CBK. Obviously, I'm grateful. Oh my goodness, so grateful to get to do this on a daily basis. Pumped about what this community has become. Brian, thank you so much for the $100 super chat. Brian P, really appreciate that. Buy some diapers on you. We absolutely will do that. If I can pry this $100 from Espo, our GM's hands, we'll I'm kidding. We absolutely will do that. But tomorrow it's going down, and can't wait to get back here, tell you all about the little guy. It's our second son, and hopefully got another football fan on the way.
I think I speak for everybody at PHNX Sports, everybody in the chat. Happy, healthy delivery tomorrow. We're all going to be thinking about the Brock family. Excited for you all. And we will soldier on temporarily without the best co-host a podcast could ask for here on PHNX Cardinals. But as Bo mentioned, I've got a slew of co-hosts lined up. There's a lot of diversity in this lineup where I think we only have the same co-host locked in twice. Bo's going to be out for about 7 shows. So you're going to show up every day. There's going to be a new face here, and we're going to be excited. I've pulled some strings to get some special folks on the show, so you will not want to miss it. I know Bo's going to be watching. He's going to have PHNX Cardinals up next to the crib, and he's going to be checking it out.
Yeah. I love that there's all these congratulations in the chat, and then just kind of peppered in is like a hashtag fire Petzing. Poor Drew Petzing. It's just like, congrats, Bo, congratulations, and it's like hashtag fire Petzing. But I love it. Everybody keep it up. Trevor Begay, 199. Congrats. Show the baby. Empire Strikes Back.
I've been trying to corrupt Bo's only son right now with Star Wars for a long time, Trevor. I haven't been able to penetrate that force field. We will get through. It will happen. People saying I'm running people off the show. Yeah, that's right. I wasn't even on Damon's last show, and now I'm pushing Bo aside. This is gonna be like old school.
At least you were here to send me off. At least you were here to send me off. You know what? It is kind of shocking that here you said goodbye to me, and I'm coming back. I assure you that. You said goodbye to Dennis Gardeck, but you still haven't said officially goodbye to Damon Dog.
I shot him a text, last Friday.
Very personal, Johnny. Very personal text. You probably shot him.
First of all, there were some exchanges of funds for a rather generous gift card on our behalf. So I just put that out there in the ether. I would do anything for Damon. And guess what? You might be seeing Damon during Bo's absence once or twice. So I'm just putting that out there.
Well, I don't know. I think since you inexcused absence his final show, I think he said that he's not doing it. He's not going to resurface.
I'll tell you what's being peppered in the chat is between your congratulations. The fact that people are saying that your newborn infant son is going to come out taller than me. That's highly offensive.
Guys.
Get that out of here.
That's nasty work. That's nasty work,
man. Well, we're all excited, Bo. Safe, happy, healthy delivery tomorrow for everybody in the Brock family. We will be back tomorrow at 4:30, keeping things moving throughout the course of this offseason. And Bo, we're going to miss you, bud. We'll talk to you soon.
I'm going to miss all you guys. Keep this thing afloat. I'm sure you will. I've got full confidence, but look, can't wait to get back and do what I love. And it's all because of you supporting this show that I get to do that and covering this team. But in the meantime, Everybody enjoy Johnny and Noah and the future shows here coming as soon as tomorrow at 4:30 here on PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.